everyone. Thanks for having me here. Today, my topic is the cultural communication between Taiwan and the USA. What do teenagers in Taiwan think about America? Due to the spread of American culture in Taiwan and the diplomatic policies of the governments of both countries, the relationship between USA and Taiwan is close now, whether in terms of the people or the two nations themselves. And, in my opinion, the people that will have the longest actual influence on the future are teenagers. Therefore, my presentation will focus on how American culture affects teenagers in Taiwan and what might these effects lead to in the future. My presentation will be in 4 parts. They are: what is going on between Taiwan and the USA, the influence of American culture on teenagers, examples for cultural communication, and finally, our future environment. When it comes to our relationship with the USA, we can never avoid mentioning China, owing to the complicated relationship between Taiwan, China, and the USA. Our relationship with the USA is now guaranteed by Taiwan Relations Act, or TRA. As we all know, China has wanted Taiwan to be a part of China for a long time. However, most teenagers in Taiwan are highly aware that Taiwan is an independent country. The USA and China have a tense relationship at the moment, and therefore, the USA is now taking our side against China and its attempt to intimidate Taiwan militarily. And the USA has also improved our relationship by passing the Taiwan Travel Act. These are only 2 of the actions that the USA has taken in recent years. We can clearly see that the relationship between Taiwan and the USA is close now. Second, the influence of American culture on teenagers. Despite of thinking ourselves as an independent country, most teenagers in Taiwan also think that our freedom and democracy are valuable. In modern society, people at my age lived in a generation of information that is conveyed and exchanged rapidly. We know that America is a country of freedom, and we see the differences between Taiwan and the USA, such as the open attitude towards communication, the high awareness of working rights, and the mixture of many cultures. As we all know, Asian people have the intention of hiding our feelings when communicating. From the opinions of teenagers around me, I think this tendency can be traced back to our childhood. When we were children, we were taught to be respectful to our elders. We have to obey their decisions without room for discussion, even though sometimes we think that's unreasonable. When we started seeing American dramas and movies, the way the Americans communicate surprised us. They share their feelings and thoughts, sometimes inspired amazing ideas through discussion or improving a relationship. Such things made us want to change the way we communicate. Compared with the past, more and more teenagers in Taiwan have developed their ability to think critically, communicate in a rational way, and express our feelings and thoughts firmly and directly. Now, examples of cultural communication. As I mentioned above, we learn the latest trends and cultural developments from the USA through American dramas, movies, and even music. But in fact, not only has American culture spread into Taiwan, but many of our works have also penetrated the US market. Netflix is a good example of this. Netflix is an American media services provider and production company. It features dramas and movies from all over the world, and it is widely used in many countries. Many of Taiwanese works are available on Netflix, and some of them really show the Taiwanese cultural environment. For instance, a program like On Children reveals the Taiwanese educational environment. Days We Stared at the Sun, Season 2, showcases the social issue of Taiwan from 2010 to 2019. A Touch of Green charts the Taiwanese historical background from 1945 to 1981. And A Teenage Psychic, which is available on HBO, showcases the folk culture of Taiwan. Through all these examples, we can see that the cultural communication between Taiwan and USA is increasing in frequency. Now, our future environment. As I noted above, the USA is a country of freedom, It is this kind of high degree of freedom that is able to open up many possibilities. Therefore, it really attracts teenagers with dreams in Taiwan. Most teenagers appreciate the life and the environment in the USA, but they are also proud of their own culture and even have the desire to let more and more people know about us. However, as we all know, China has been constantly suppressing Taiwan. We don't really have many chances to let people around the world learn about us. But just as in the situation of America and Taiwan I mentioned above, and the examples of cultural communication, the USA is now taking our side. When it comes to cultural communication with the USA, China's persecution to Taiwan will not be a problem. And through all this cultural communication, we can see America as a big stage, showing the beauty of culture from Taiwan to the world. Besides, the cultural communication between Taiwan and the USA can also be seen as the cultural communication between Eastern culture and Western culture. When this kind of cultural communication doesn't form to cultural conflicts, it can not only bring up the most beautiful aspects of both cultures, but also collide with different sparks and promote the relationship between two countries. To sum up, keeping cultural communication with USA can not only improve the international visibility of Taiwan, but also bind us together. This is the end of my presentation. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for your presentation. What do you think can be done to improve the communication between the US and Taiwan?
Well, I think when teenagers with dreams, when teenagers start choosing what they want in the USA, it will bring up the cultural communication, and I think we can work on a program. Like I mentioned above, they all just our program, and that is available on America, or America's program that is available to watch on Taiwan. But why can we just work together and work on a program like Netflix, and they have a program like Norwegian Man. It is the company asked the Taiwanese producers to product a film, and I think this kind of works can also we can also work on more on this kind of work. Thank you.
I'm always struck by the fact that people in Taiwan, if you were to say, "Do you know America?" they would laugh at you and think that you're ridiculous. But if I go to America and I say, "You know Taiwan?" they'll say, "They have elephants."
I think it's Thailand.
Okay.
So people, and if I said, "Can you name 3 cities in Taiwan?" people cannot. So my question is, do you think it's fair to Taiwan that we try so hard to communicate with America, but yet America does so little to communicate with us?
Well, just as the situation I mentioned above, China has been constantly suppressing Taiwan. I think this situation you said is the reason why American people doesn't know so much about Taiwan and even think that Taiwan is Thailand. I think this is not a question. This is not fair. Is not concerned with this question. This is the status of Taiwan in the international in the world. It is our definition. Well, how do I say? I'm sorry. It is not fair to. It is not fair to say that American people don't know about Taiwan is because they didn't want to connect with us. It is because the China's persecution. So I don't think that fair is not concerned with this question.
Okay, thank you for your opinion.
Okay, if it is not fair, and then which part of the Taiwanese culture you would like to highlight and introduce to American people?
Ah, okay.
Very good point.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. The point. Let me think about it.
Any project that the Americans would also be interested?
Will also be interested. I think it's the folk cultures. I like to watch American dramas and movies, and I also have a subscribe Netflix. And after so many dramas I've seen, I can't think of any specific culture, folk culture of America. So I think the Americans will wonder what folk cultures are, like a teenage psychic. We have something like temples, or even we have events. Although this is really noise, but this is showing the Taiwanese culture, and I think we should appreciate it and even let more and more people to know about that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.